Hello friends, welcome back to our little coffee club. Today we're gonna check out the AeroPress. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that little intro, but let's go ahead, take it over to the other counter and talk about it. All right, so I recorded that little intro clip this past weekend, and I think I'm ready to showcase this little brewer for you guys. As you guys saw in that intro clip, if you saw it when I first posted it, which should have been weeks ago by the time this video is out, but that little intro clip, if you notice that You know, I was still dialing in this coffee. I had just gotten it. I really love this coffee. I gotta say, if you guys haven't tried it, pick a bag of this stuff up. It's so good. It's got some nice highs and lows that I was not expecting. And it kind of took me by surprise, this coffee. I gotta say, I told you guys the little story of when I went to go see that Terminator, when I reviewed it, you know, that I went to go see that Terminator movie and I was blown away as a kid. Anyway, you know, I was not expecting it at all. It gave me a lot more peakiness than I was expecting. More acidity and more sweetness than what I'm used to from getting other Ethiopians. It does have that like nice like floral quality to it, or what I like to call that. And you know, this is a natural, so that's probably why it's giving me those highs and lows. But anyway, let's talk about the brewer. So if you guys saw the little intro clip, I had ground the coffee at 30 and I had to keep going coarser and coarser until I got to 40. 40 is where I found the sweet spot, and I'm talking about the niche, okay? I'm talking about the niche. Usually I do my pour overs on my hand grinder, but on this coffee, I don't know. I wanted to use the niche on the intro clip, and that's how I ended up starting to brew this coffee, and then I just kept it going on the niche. So, all right, so you guys saw that although on that clip I grounded at 30, I did put it in writing there that I should have gone to 40. At 40 is where I found the sweet spot for the AeroPress on this coffee. So let's talk about the AeroPress. First of all, you get it, you know, you get it like this. Everything fits in this little cup. And you know, the more I use it, the more I see why this is such a popular brewer worldwide, okay? This is, if you look online, there's a gazillion recipes for the AeroPress. And funny enough, I started using some of those recipes. I tried 2-3 different things. And then eventually I just gravitated to my own technique, which I'm really enjoying. And that's what I'm gonna show you guys. And that's what I showed on the intro clip. It's my own process as to this brewer. And funny enough, although there's a gazillion different recipes, mine is a little bit unique. Everybody has their own take on it. And I think that's kind of like what's fun about this thing. But you know, part of the reason why I see it being such a popular brewer when it comes to worldwide, I was checking to make sure my phone is recording, because you know, recently I missed a whole clip and I was talking for like 10-15 minutes, and then I looked and I didn't hit record. So, but yeah, we're good. All right, so anyway, like I was saying, everything fits in this cup. The plastic is very high end. I mean, I imagine you could break it, but it's not going to be easy, okay? This thing is like made like bulletproof, the cup, everything. All right, so everything fits in here. You know, this is what holds your filter, and AeroPress does make filtered coffee. The little filters, they look something like the ones for the Tricklet. And you know what? The way the brewer works is something like the Tricklet, and we'll get into all of that. But this comes with it. It's just a little paddle to stir and a little scoop for your coffee beans. I don't use it, but you get all of that. And it fits right inside the plunger part. Okay, so this is the plunger part. The rubber's still like really new on mine, so it's really sticky. And everything fits. It's empty on the bottom side here, so everything fits in here, and then you put this together and this little cap just goes over the top, and it doesn't make like a really strong seal, but it's just enough that it gives you the little extra room in case you don't get things just right. It's real easy to put it back on top, is what I mean to say. So it's not one of these things that has to fit everything exactly perfect, or you can't put it together. This is something that you just put this over the top, throw it in a bag, and you're good to go, and you keep going until you're gonna use it next time. You could just rinse everything out real easy. At the end, you know, your puck is gonna be at the bottom. You could finish pushing this thing through. It pushes the puck out, and you just throw it in the garbage, rinse everything off, and you're good to go. The filters, another good thing is, you know, the little filters, they're very similar to the ones on the Tricklet, or kind of like that puck paper that you could use on your espresso machine. It's something like that. And these can be easily rinsed. You can rinse them, reuse them 3-4 times, you're good to go. You know, and on the Tricklet, I do that. I rinse them, you know, maybe 2-3 times, I can reuse them. But on here, you're a lot safer doing that because even if it gets a little bit clogged up, since you're gonna push it through, you can still save your brew. That's okay. All right, let's talk about how this thing works, right? A lot of people use the inverted method. They turn it upside down like this, they fill it from the top, and they just let it steep there, kind of like AeroPress, right? And then you turn it around. Obviously, you put your top and you lock it in place, and then you turn it around. You got to be very careful if you're gonna do that inverted method. I tried it, and you'll see why I didn't particularly like it. But yeah, you do that and you just steep your coffee there, kind of like a French press. Then you turn it over into the cup and you press it through. You got to be very careful. You could get hurt, and this thing could pop out of place because it's gonna. When the coffee's degassing, it kind of builds a little bit of pressure and it could pop off and you could have a mess. So just be careful if you're doing that. I use it as it was intended to be used, and I find it to be way better that way. So I don't get it. I don't get the whole upside down. I tried it a couple times. You have to end up diluting the coffee. Okay, so unless you're gonna drink just a little bit, this is maybe like, I don't know, 4 ounces in here or something. Unless you want that much coffee and you're gonna use a very small dose, maybe I could see you doing that. But since I like making 300 grams, that doesn't work. And you could still do it and then dilute it, which is what a lot of the recipes, recipes are built that way, that you have to dilute your coffee at the end. You add the extra water. So it's gonna be concentrated. You add the extra water to get it to the ratio that you want. To me, it didn't taste as good as what I'm gonna show you guys right now, which it does not require for you to dilute. Okay, so I think I covered enough about, there's tons of recipes. So just check online and you'll find a million recipes. I'm gonna show you the way I do it. The way I like doing it, it kind of works kind of like the triplet. Where this becomes like way better than the triplet is in the sense that the triplet, first of all, the triplet channels a whole bunch, and controlling channeling is very tricky and challenging. It's fun when that's what you're looking for. If you wanna mess with that, it could give you very high extraction and very sweet coffee because you can kind of like have it brewing for a long time as a slow brewer. It's kind of like a French press. You're gonna be, at least for what I like, somewhere around 4.5 to 5 minutes, depending on the coffee, depending on the roast level, and several factors. But you can play with the water temperature. You can play with your grind size and a bunch of different things. Grind size is important because when you're pushing through, you're not supposed to really push. You just kind of lay your hand on top and you just use very little pressure, and it should easily go down. Okay, if that's not happening, maybe you ground too fine, which is kind of like what happened to me on that intro clip. Okay, so when I got to 40, then it was dialed in just right, where you could put just a little bit of pressure, it flowed through, and the coffee tasted its best. Okay, so basically, when you're using it like it was intended. So let's put it together. First of all, you don't need to rinse anything for this. If you want to warm up the cup, but like really this doesn't even retain heat. It's like it doesn't absorb the heat, I should say. It just always like kind of stays cool. So why you're gonna be wasting your water, and it's not gonna do anything. It's gonna stay the same temperature. So anyway, the filter goes in like this. Okay, you don't need to rinse it. Look at how small it is. You could rinse it if you want to. If it makes you happy, if it's part of your workflow, if you enjoy it, go ahead, Today, you know what? Well, let's rinse it today because I want to warm up the cup. We'll just rinse it. Why not? But you don't really have to. I mean, look at this thing. Just like the triplet. Do it if it makes you happy, but you don't really need to. All right, so let's lock it in. So you lock it in. I don't know if you could see that well there, but this is what it ends up being. Okay. Let's get the kettle going. Let's heat up everything, and then we'll grind the coffee and make a brew on this thing. Give me a second. All right, the kettle's getting ready. We're gonna dose out our 20 grams. Again, as far as my dose and my yield, as to this brewer, is the same thing I like to drink every morning. Okay, I'm gonna still make my 300 grams. 20 grams in, 300 grams out, 1 to 15. And you use your grind size and your water temperature and things like that to kind of control the strength Or you can, play around with the dose. It doesn't have to be that dose. It doesn't have to be 20 grams. Try, 18, try 22, whatever you like. Okay, but just so that we could be clear, when I use the AeroPress, I'm still looking for the same kind of filtered coffee taste that I'm used to and what I like, and it's still the same dose amount, the same yield. Okay, went a little bit over. This coffee has also kind of like small beans. I'm telling you guys, there's something about the small beans and the concentrated flavor. I don't know, that's just my theory. But yeah, this Ethiopian from Good Brothers, man, wow, really hit the spot, and it was really surprising to me. I'm still kind of like thinking about that. All right, so we got 20 grams exactly. Let's see what we get from the niche. We are grinding again at 40. All right, that's what our setup is looking like today. A little tap. Wow, that smells good. Ooh, man, that coffee smells awesome. All right, you see it there, guys. The scale doesn't lie. We got whatever we put in, we got out. Now I went to 19.9, but come on. All right, well, maybe a little, maybe a small amount of difference. All right, so here we go. Wow, that coffee smells fantastic. Okay, before I dump it into the AeroPress, I'm gonna do a little WDT in the catch cup. Why not? All right, so we got our filter in there. Everything's locked in. Let's warm it up. Let's warm it up today. So basically, when you press, don't press on top of your scale. I have actually seen a couple of videos where people are pressing on top of their scale. Even if you're not putting a lot of pressure, this is just not a good idea. Don't do it that way. Remove your scale out of the way. And you know what? I keep the time running because I'm looking at my time, right? So I'll take it off the scale, but the time is still running. And what I'm looking for is to finish in exactly 5 minutes. So you're gonna start kind of like putting your plunger in and getting everything ready. Well, the plunger should be in. I'll show you in a second. But yeah, you want to start pressing through slowly and see how it's flowing. Give yourself like a minute to do the process. If it's going real fast down, then press slower or just take your time. But it might fight you a little bit. You might have to press a little bit harder. And if you want to finish exact, you want to give yourself like a minute to plunge through. Okay, so you'll see in a second the whole process. But let's heat up things here. Temperature. Being that this coffee is a little bit more developed, I'm at 96. Usually I'm more like at 97, 98. Let's go to 95. We're gonna be at 95. Another thing is that, at first I didn't want to like really drink the coffee here. I thought it would be like kind of plasticky, but wow, it really is not. It's not at all. It's kind of like one of those like really hard plastics, and it just, to me, it's fine to drink this way. As a matter of fact, it's kind of like nice to hold. There's something about it, this little ribs on it. I don't know. You guys just have to try it. I don't know. Usually you guys know I use my crew cups, and there is something to them. I still say that. But when I brew into this, why dirty the cup and waste the water and wash the thing and all that stuff? Just doesn't make sense. It tastes just fine here. I didn't think so, but after I tried it, I was like, you know what? It's not worth it putting it into the other cup. And I could see like if you take this on a trip, then you don't need anything. Everything you need is here. Just rinse it out at the end, you're done. Oh, another thing is you don't need a gooseneck kettle. You just just like the Tricklet. Although the Tricklet has the little dispersing screen and this does not, it doesn't matter. And you're gonna see in a second why, okay? So let's get this thing going. Let's heat it up. All right, usually I don't do this step, but Why not? We want to heat up the cup. Something else is that this plastic cup retains heat a lot better than the glass. When I put it in the cruve, I always do like half, and then I come back do the other half. And the carafe keeps it, cause it's covered and everything. It kind of keeps it warmer than if you just. Besides, those cups are only supposed to go to where I fill them. But on this cup, it just retains heat very well. The coffee will stay hot for, you know, quite enough for me at least. All right, so let's give it a little swirl in there. All right. Okay, that got a little messy, but it's all right. Okay, here we go. So let's zero everything out. Okay, so now we got everything here ready. Here's our coffee. Now, here's another thing that I think you guys maybe noticed it on the clip, right? But I use the dosing ring again from the Brewing. It kind of just stays in place here pretty well. And then I could just go like this to the coffee. You know, turn it over, tap it a couple times like this. And no mess, no stress, it works perfect. So this little dosing funnel keeps working out for me. I'm using it on the mocha pot, now I'm using it on my AeroPress. Man, I made a little mess here with the water. Well, you know, although my, like I told you guys before, my, how do you call it? My videos are not live yet. Maybe one day we'll be able to do lives. We'll see. We'll see if we keep, we'll see if we keep growing. We'll see if we keep growing. But you do, you know, I kind of include my bloopers. You guys could see what happens. This is the real life. This is my, as a matter of fact, today's, you know, it's a morning brew. This is my morning coffee. I haven't had coffee. That's part of the reason why I'm fumbling things. Okay, regardless, I think we're ready to proceed here. Clean things up a little bit. Okay, so once you have your coffee in here, just shake it around. Get it nice and even in here. That's it. Okay, I dumped the water, yes. Don't want to mess that up again. Okay, so this is how we start. Goodness, what a mess I made. Jeez. It's like water everywhere here. Okay, I think I'm good. And you know, I like keeping it tight. You guys know that. All right. We'll see if we include all of this. We might cut some pieces out. Okay, I think it's under control. All right, here we go. So, you know, shake it around a little bit. That's all you got to do. Let's tear the scale. Okay, again, we're looking for 5 minutes total time, including the time that it takes you to plunge down. What I've noticed is that I'll go ahead and put in 100 grams. When I put in 100 grams, I give it a good stir, okay? I give it a good stir. And it'll take about a minute before I pour my next 100 grams. And then after that, it gets tricky. You did not see that part in, how do you call it, in the intro clip, but that's where you'll see what happens. Okay, so here we go. Start the time. Okay, we're running. So we're gonna go in with the first 100 grams. Easy enough. And again, you don't need to make circles. You don't gotta control the stream. It doesn't matter. You can use any kettle. All right, we're at 104. That's fine. And now we give it the stir. Again, we use this thing. Now when you're stirring it, you wanna go back and forth. You don't wanna do circles, because if you do circles, it tends to build like a dome, kind of like what happens on the triclet. If you guys have seen my triclet tutorials, and if you swirl with the triclet, you end up again with the same kind of situation where it's a dome. So what you want to do here is just go in different directions, back and forth. Don't do circles, or you end up kind of like with a dome shape, trying to avoid that. Okay, so you give it the good stir, put it back on here. We'll need it in a minute. Here we go. Okay, so we're at a minute. We're gonna do our next 100 grams. Now we go to 200. But if you notice, look at how full it's getting. Okay? And think about this, the whole time the coffee's brewing, it's coming out the bottom, but just very slowly, kind of like on the tricklet, okay? Maybe even slower than the tricklet. There's no bypass happening. It has to go push through the bed of coffee. And remember, I gave it a good stir. Now, how much agitation you do, that's gonna be up to you. And if you wanna get more flavor out, make sure you're not getting any bitterness. You know, you control that. It's just like dialing in anything else. Some coffees are gonna require more stirring, some less. For my, what I've dialed in on this particular coffee, I noticed that at 5 minutes, if I stir just in the beginning and I do this process just like this, it's awesome. So, okay, we're at 2 minutes, and now here's the tricky part. Now you cannot do 100 grams. It's not gonna fit. Now this did not show on the intro clip. That's why you gotta see the full tutorial. But we're just gonna go to the top and see how much fits. All right. Okay, so we're at 263. We're at 263 grams, and it's pushing through. Now, one thing that could happen is that it stalls. It hasn't happened to me at all. With any coffee at any grind size, it's just never stalled. I've always been able to do it this way. But if it does, you could still take this thing off, put your plunger on top carefully, and still press it through, and then dilute it. You'll have to. Yeah, but you could still save it. On the tricklet, it could become unusable. The tricklet stalls, the tricklet channels. Here, I haven't had any issues with anything. It's just easy. Again, it's one of the reasons why so many people love using it. So here at 3 minutes, remember at 4 minutes, we're gonna have to start plunging. So, okay, so at 3 minutes, let's see if we can get it to the 300 grams now. We're gonna be a little bit short. We need a little bit more in there. So far, okay, this is where you control with the grind size, right? So if you notice that you're not able to do the process in the time that you have allowed yourself to, then you're gonna have to I'm checking the phone again. Oh my God, again, man, it's really like when you do all this talking and then you forgot to hit record, no bueno. Okay, so, okay. So, just look at your time, add water as you can. If not, you're gonna have to dilute a little bit at the end. But so far, once I dial it in, for me, it's always worked. We're almost there. We're 2 grams, 1.5 grams away. Okay, we're at 300 and right at 4 minutes. So we're right on time. All right, this is the way it's supposed to happen. Okay, so now I'm gonna start my process. So I have 300 grams exactly. Move this off to the, oh my God. I should have had coffee. I turned it off. Now I don't know the time. I know I had a minute. It is what it is. We're gonna have to roll with it. But usually, believe me, I would have made it happen right at 5 minutes, but now we have no time. So I know I probably have about another 30 seconds to go here. So let's start the process. With this grind size, it should be nice and easy to plunge down. Now again, once you put your plunger in there, you saw that the water was quite high still. Keep your hand on it, because again, it still could be degassing and it could pop this thing out, okay? So just kind of start, pressing through very lightly. Man, I can't believe I turned off the timer. I put off the scale off to the side and turned off the timer. Doesn't matter, it'll be right around 5 minutes. I wonder if I'm gonna maybe I'll have it on the phone and I'll be able to figure it out, because it's been recording the whole time, so. All right, if I could figure it out, I'll put it on the screen once we're done. But that's it, I'm calling it. So at the end, obviously you're not gonna be able to push. This is not supposed to come flush to this, okay? Because that's it doesn't go anymore. Because you have your puck, remember, you have your coffee there at the bottom taking up room. So that's how it ends up being. We should be right about 5 minutes. Okay, let me put this off to the side. Okay, here's your cup of coffee. Now you can put it over to another, something else if you like. Let me rinse this and then I'll stir it. Okay, give it a stir. And that's your AeroPress brew right there. I find this to taste a lot like, okay, I find it to taste a lot like the Triclet when you get it right. But that's the problem, on the Triclet, it's very difficult to get it right. And on the AeroPress, using this technique, it just works. It's you know, every time it's fine. All right, let me give it a taste test and then we'll go to the other counter. Wow, that coffee's spectacular. Okay, it's spectacular. I love it. All right, let's go to the other counter. Let's talk about it. All right, so we're in the sink. This hasn't happened yet, but it did on this video. I don't want to forget to show you guys something. Okay, so look at what happens here, right? You remove this. Look at how easy it is. That's part of the reason why everybody loves this thing. Okay, here's this part, right? And here's your filter right at the top. So easy, just peel it off. You can rinse it and reuse it. Let me put it off to the side there. But look at your puck. I'm just gonna, I'll clean it up later. But look at how easy it comes out. Okay, that's it. Your coffee's there. You give everything a rinse, and you're good to go. All right, so this is one of the reasons why people take it camping. And again, it's so durable. This thing is like bulletproof. Everything fits in one little package, even the cup you drink from. So, I highly recommend it. If you guys don't have an AeroPress, wow, it's the best of both worlds. It's a French press with a Triclet, and they had a baby, and you got an AeroPress. It's the best of both of them. You can steep your coffee. It's a no bypass. You get very high extraction. It is very easy to it's very difficult to mess up, because even if your grind size is off or something, you could still save it with a plunger. It cannot at the worst case scenario, you'll have to dilute at the end. But some people like that. Some people actually prefer it like that. I didn't. I like this method that I'm doing, but to each their own. So let's go to the other counter. All right, let me give it another taste. Man, this is spectacular. We'll talk about it in a second. But, although I forgot to stop I'm sorry, I forgot to leave the timer running on the scale. I'm pretty sure we were still right around the 5 minutes. It could have been 10 seconds more or less, but we're right there. It's the way it's supposed to taste. I've made it enough times already on the AeroPress to know the best I can get out of it, and I think today I nailed it. It's great. Man. Yeah, this is a sweet coffee, but with a good level of acidity. If you brew it this way, you'll get it sweeter and you'll less acidity. But if you can easily change that. Do it, instead of doing 5 minutes, go to 3.5 minutes, and you'll probably get way more acidity, less sweetness. It's always the balance that you have to play with. It just depends what you like. Let's take a look at the tasting notes again. I forgot already, but let's try to guess again. I completely forgot what. Oh man, let's see. No, I do remember one, cherry. Oh yeah, and one of the things was not like a tasting note. It was, I don't remember. Oh, refreshing. It was cherry, refreshing. And cherry, the only time I got that was on the Lavazza Rosa. I did get a little cherryness. Wow, there's a lot of flavor. This coffee is great. There is a little tartness, for sure. And to me, I get that caramel flavor, but like a sweet caramel, not like the salted caramel one. Yeah, that's what I don't remember what I said last time, but when I reviewed it, I recorded that already 2 weeks ago or something, but the whole little intro clip, that I did for the AeroPress, that I recorded just like a day ago, 2 days ago, a couple days ago. That was very recent. Yeah, just sweet. It does have some highs and lows for sure. And I get like that caramel, fruitiness. I don't know about cherries. And refreshing, I don't know, it's mostly water. Any coffee is refreshing. I don't know. All right, let's see what else. Oh, it was nectarine. Nectarine. Again, it doesn't seem like that citrusy to me. Yeah, there's acidity, but I would say more like berryness than. I think I remember last time when I let it cool, like, as I'm recording, sometimes I'm still doing stuff, and I think once it got really cold, then I got a little bit of like that flavor of maybe nectarine, but yeah, I'm getting the sweetness, like a caramel, and like a little tartness that I would attribute to more like berries or something like that. But okay, so that's what they say: nectarine, cherry, and refreshing. I hope you guys enjoyed your time here with me today. I think this is gonna be one of my shorter videos, due to the fact that we're not pulling espresso and doing a bunch of things, but I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this. And you guys comment below, have you tried the AeroPress? I have the French press coming soon. I'm gonna now work on creating something for the French press and start brewing more and more with that one, and get used to it and come up with my own techniques and stuff. Wow, this coffee is great. I got so much more here than what I was expecting from this. I mean, when I saw it, I knew that I wanted to try it. I was like, wow, this is an interesting one. I want to try this for sure. But I didn't expect to have it this much flavor. Yeah, there's something about the cup that feels nice. I like the little ribs and the warmth, and I don't know. This it's something silly, but well, another thing is I have to report back to John. John, I gotta say, buddy, I know you really like that Lavazza Gusto Classico, I think it's called, the one I'm having now. For milk base, it's great, it's fine. But I gotta say, the Lavazza Rosa to me was way better. And I know you like this one. I'm sorry, buddy, but I'll have to disagree on that one. Everybody has their own, flavor profiles that they enjoy and things, but the Lavazza Rosa just gave me so much more. It had a more interesting flavor, more depth of flavor. It was a lighter roast, but still dark enough that it was perfectly fine for mixing with milk. If all you want to do is make milk-based drinks, this one is just as good as anything. Anything dark, I should say, for me, because you guys know that the lighter the coffee starts becoming, the more I enjoy as pour-overs and maybe straight shots, but not for mixing with milk. Definitely for mixing with milk is something like that, a darker roast, and that one's as good as any. But I gotta say, the Lavazza Rosa to me was a lot better, especially on the mocha pot. The mocha pot, the Lavazza Rosa and the mocha pot to me was like really good. I really enjoyed that coffee. Well, all right, enough chit chat. Let me know if there's something that I messed up. I mean, I messed up on a lot of things today. I had the little water mess. I turned off the scale. Anyway, all you could do is try. But if there's something here that you didn't understand, or you got confused on, or you want me to elaborate further, please comment below. I answer everyone. As a matter of fact, I recently made an answer video, right? I recorded a whole video to answer some questions because I thought that the questions kind of like you needed to record a video, because how I'm gonna give my opinion as to how to get started in espresso, and whether you should buy like an automatic machine or you should get something more like a Bianca. It ended up being like it depends a whole bunch. You guys saw that video already, but it's up on the channel. But it depends a whole bunch, because if you have a lot of money and you just want your end game setup and you don't care if you get bored of it or whatever, then just buy whatever you want, whatever's your end game setup. You know, a Bianca's probably, I mean, there's a lot more like higher end machines than the Bianca. So take a look at what ECM has to offer, Profitec. Take a look at a Slayer. You know, I would love to have a Slayer. I mean, imagine a Slayer on my counter. So, and you guys know how I love them Slayer shots. So, but you could achieve that perfectly fine with the Bianca and then some. Because the Bianca, well, let's not get into all of that. But, you know, to start out, man, you could just start out with the infuser. And recently on the Amazon deals, they had the Breville Barista Express. I think it was like less than $600. I think it was. I don't know, somewhere around $600. Man, you get the espresso machine and the grinder. Like, that's an incredible deal. And it makes just as good coffee as anything else. In the menu, you're gonna lose some flexibility, but it's fine. If you just wanna get into the hobby, you're not 100% sure if this is something you're gonna like be that much into, just get something like that. It's gonna make you perfect coffee. You can get into the hobby. You can start honing in your skills and see how that goes. And if you get into it more and more, then, you know, a couple years down the line, you start really thinking about what's your end game setup and then go for that. I think that's the best way to do it. Besides, you'll still have both machines, right? You could put your other one in, I don't know, in your garage or some other room in the house. I don't know, you could have, that's what eventually I want to do. I want to have room for it so I could have one setup with my Breville setup that I could just turn the machine on, make a shot and go, and then I have like my other setup, more end game setup somewhere else to when I have more time. If not, you can always go to the mocha pot and just leave it in the sink, like I said, you know. All right, guys, enough chit-chatting. I had a lot of fun here with you guys today, once again. And, you know, you guys, my little coffee family, you guys mean a whole bunch to me. Comment something below. I love it when we have interaction. Please give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. You know, by the time this video hits, maybe we broke that halfway point. Well, at the rate we're going, we're never gonna make it. I don't think I'll be making videos 20 years from now, but who knows? Maybe I will. But anyway, you know, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Help us out here. And I'll see you guys next week.